Episode
Loaded
9
Sport.
of...
Does he sit second, then?
No, I don't think he does. I think Kevin Keegan probably sits second.
Oh my God, what a scandal.
Austin Eckler versus the Cards. Go and fuck the lot of you.
Go on, Eckler.
He's making me like I'm some sort of cameo, like I've come in and go, hand out the bag, England to win.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Loaded Sport, where today we are going to be previewing week 17 of the NFL season and looking towards New Year's Day football fixture list as well, looking into the transfer window reopening at the beginning of January. Joining me to go through it are three lads that claim they know quite a bit about what we're going to be talking about over the next hour or so. We'll start by introducing the one that has got more wrong over the last couple of weeks, we'll say. Sam, you all right?
Fucking hell. What a brutal intro that is. Cheers, mate.
He chose violence today.
Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I was all right, mate. How's yourself?
Um,
Scathing attack.
I'm all right. I'll get the shit a little bit later from you guys, so it's all right. I get mine out of the way now so that for the next hour or so you can just take the piss out of me, which is how it seems to work.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kemp, you all right?
Man with the mic, you make me feel like Ben Musgrove. You make me want to change teams.
Fuck off, that can't be it. That can't be it.
It's so...
How you doing, Andy?
Waiting for you to finish.
I'm all right, mate. I don't know whether I like that one or not.
Dawson did, that's all that matters.
It's so bad, it's good.
There you go. That'll do.
And considering the fact he asked me to introduce him last, but has not actually stopped talking since we started the introductions, I'm going to go to him now anyway. Skin, you all right?
Can't help it, mate. It's absolutely fucking brilliant stuff I'm having to listen to. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good, mate. So just very quickly, as Aggie mentioned there, we are approaching the new year, which brings on a lot of football, transfer window reopening and all that kind of stuff. But what it also brings, lads, and this is a two-parter, I've got a follow-up question to lead us into the episode, but what it also leads to is an evaluation of your year, evaluation of your achievements, your goals, and an assessment of what's to come. So my initial opening question to the three of you, and Aggie, I'll start with you. Have you got any New Year's resolutions or goals that you will be setting yourself for the year 2023? So Aggie, I'll start with you.
Not a resolution as such. I just need to get fitter. I need to be a bit more healthy. Yeah, I need to, yeah. All right. Told you it wouldn't take long before you start taking the piss out of me. No, obviously we discussed about a month ago where I had a bit of an issue with my heart. So I think for me it's just a bit of common sense of, cutting out the fatty foods, the takeaways, looking after myself a bit better, being a bit healthier, less stressed and more carefree. So I'm not saying that's going to be a New Year's resolution, but I think that's what I need to start doing. And I think right now, over the next couple of days, needs to be the time that I really kick that into action.
Love that. We're gonna start the year with Ea on the podcast and end it with Tigger. I'm sure everyone will join me in saying that we can't wait for that, but that's a good one, mate. Kemp, what about you, mate? I know earlier you said what I always say: if you want to do something, do it. But again, talking about assessing and evaluating and all that kind of stuff, have you got anything in mind for Tom Kemp in 2023?
New Year's resolution, no. I stick by what I said to you. If you want to do something, you'll do it regardless of the date, whether it's the 1st of January or the 17th of May. It don't matter. You'll just do it anyway. But I suppose one thing that I want to improve myself on in 2023, and again, it's just going forward, really, not just 2023, but it's just more consistency. So I have, certain times where I've got my training program set and I've got my diet really clean and, everything's, works really good and really organized. But then something comes up like, the house move or the new job or whatever, and I let it completely knock me off my stride. And yeah, it's an excuse for a week, but, I've not really done much for like a month and a half. And I've blamed it all on the house move, and it's not good enough. So just be a little bit more consistent in that sense, I think.
No, it's a classic, mate. When you said be more consistent, my mind instantly went to your recent 33% success rate on the locks, scorers and wildcards. But diet and training,
I will be more
just
consistently wrong for you.
That's fine. Well, we've got the spreadsheet coming up for 2023 that will be tracking our whole year prediction success rate. So there'll be no hiding next year. And last but certainly by no means least, Sam, what have you got for me and our listeners?
I think I've just got one resolution and one thing only, and that is just to successfully pick successfully pick at least one lock this year to
For the
come
whole
in.
year.
All year, that'll be my resolution. It's like when Creed has to do a cartwheel on The Office, and he just does one. That's him set for the whole year. So
Yeah, that's it.
That's me. Just pick one lock for the year, and I'll be happy.
My bold prediction is you'll land it somewhere in April. So we'll just we'll note that. But thanks for that, lads. Thought we'd just have a little bit of a New Year's chat like we did similar last week with Christmas coming up.
We'll move on towards what's going to be happening in a couple of days' time, and that is the reopening of the transfer window for Football League clubs. We've already heard that Liverpool are in and almost confirmed to be signing Cody Gakpo. Shout out to
mate.
Done deal.
Done deal, yes. Shout
we
out
go,
to
as,
Daniel Alton, who
Shock.
before the
Fabrizio
World
would
Cup
say.
said that he thought he was going to have a great World Cup. He did, and he's won himself a move to Liverpool. I think there was always going to be a couple of sides in the Premier League or in the Champions League sort of stage that were going to be looking towards signing him. Liverpool have jumped ahead and done that. So it raises the question, and I will come to Sam first for this.
Good boy.
Any side in the Premier League that you feel in January really needs to address a certain position?
Yeah, the team that Liverpool leapfrogged, or everyone who want to say it, to sign Gakpo. United need a striker. I know they've just beat Forest pretty convincingly, but I've not got much faith in Martial up top, and I know Dawson's going to chip in and say Rashford should play up top. Rashford should play out on that left side. He was absolutely outstanding last night against Forest on that left side, and that's where I think
Stavely Marner's welfare would do a job against Forest.
Yeah, true.
Hey,
Being
good
a
side,
Derby fan,
Stavely.
I'll take give them some, pile on. Feel free. But no, I think Rashford is just so good out on that left side, and I just think they need that striker so Rashford can play off them. That's when he's the focal point. I just think he can sometimes he hasn't got that killer instinct in him to maybe a first time finish, but I think they need
he scored yesterday, didn't he? But it was a shocker from keeper. Like it was a P roller,
brilliantly worked corner.
So.
Yeah, brilliantly worked
no,
corner.
Martial's goal. Sorry,
the
Martial. Second goal.
Yeah, Martial.
Yeah, terrible finish.
Yeah, really poor goalkeeping by Wayne Hennessy, the Welsh fucker. But but no, I think United need an out-and-out centre forward. Now the options are going to be very slim in January.
Yeah,
they keep going on about getting a loan signing for João Felix, and I am so against that.
Yeah,
I think I've mentioned.
Not rated him, have you?
No, I think I mentioned on a previous podcast. I've never seen him have a man of the match display. I've never seen him be the best player on a pitch. I don't know why it's attached to this price tag, but I suppose maybe alone when you're not paying for him, maybe when you look at it that way. But I just think it comes with like a 60 million price tag, and I just can't see why it's that high myself.
Well, just to chip in with that, a rumor that's come out today is that United are re-looking at their previous player, Memphis Depay, a player that obviously signed for United in the past under Van Gaal, didn't play to the level that was expected of him, left relatively shortly, been playing with Barcelona for the last couple of seasons and very well, and has been instrumental in Netherlands' sort of rebirth over the last few years after their they went off the radar a bit in international football, didn't they? So again, Ten Hag's system could work. What
you know what? I'm not against that at all. I'm not. It was dealt a raw deal at United the first time round. Was he under Mourinho?
I thought it was Van Gaal, but yeah, it might be Mourinho.
And it just wasn't for him, that system. Mourinho's so dogged, scrappy. They were never going to play good football under Mourinho. And he was just one of them flair players that, if someone like an Anthony was in that side, he'd have done exactly the same. He wouldn't have thrived at all. So I wouldn't be against that. If the price is right, I wouldn't be against him going back to United and getting a second chance at it, because I do think he is a quality player.
Yeah, a couple of other
players. Is he an out-and-out striker, though? Is he an out-and-out striker?
It has been. He didn't play in that sort of position when he was there before, but certainly while he's been at Barca and Netherlands over the last few years,
he won't have played there this season for Barca, though, will he?
They're all similar players, aren't they? Martial, Rashford,
exactly, and that's
Sancho,
my point.
I know what you mean.
Depay and on João Felix, and they're all forward players, but they're forward players that for me would work, on the wing or in the hole. Or, I have made a case for Rashford up top, and I stick by that. But, yeah, I don't think Depay is as much as what United need as a striker. And I sort of think that Liverpool have done the sort of same thing. I think Cody Gakpo is an unbelievable footballer, and we saw that in the World Cup with bags of potential. But I think Liverpool needed a centre mid. and Man
they've got
United
so
need a
much.
striker.
Yeah.
And neither of them really need what Cody Gakpo is. So that's the way I see United at the moment. And I think, it's a good sign, and it's definitely a steal for Liverpool. And
Do you think they've jumped in
some decent cover
to save
I think
United
it's going to
getting
be some
him?
decent cover. No, I think they've jumped in because they know Luis Diaz is injured, so they need cover there. I think it's good cover, but I think at the same time they needed a centre mid more. And you've got to think that £35 million come out of their transfer budget now. Can £35 million of that being spent on a centre midfielder?
Possibly another couple of names linked for United, because you're right, Sam, in terms of that striker role, especially now Ronaldo's left. That seems to be the main focus in January. Benfica and Portugal star Goncalo Ramos, who famously scored that hat-trick after replacing Ronaldo.
I think that'd be a very good shout.
Yeah, and also Juventus and Serbia forward Dusan Vlahovic, who I personally would love to see at United if we're talking out-and-out strikers. Saw him a little bit at Fiorentina before his move to Juventus. I've not really seen much of him while he's played for Juventus, to be honest. But
Isn't he quite old?
No, not at all. He's mid-20s.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
He's 22, yeah.
Vlahovic?
Yeah, he just seems like he's been around for ages because he's been bagging goals for ages.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good shout for United as well, because Juventus are in a little bit of a tricky time at the moment. I know vast majority of their board of directors, including your man Sam Nedved, have stepped down from the club in recent weeks. So I think there's no doubt that move probably would be attractive to a player like Vlahovic. And I think, Dawson, you made a really good point there, and I didn't think about him actually. I think that'd be a fantastic signing for United, and one that they desperately need, because it's not just a striker to go in, and play most of the games. They also need a striker as backup. I think they need two strikers, to be quite honest with you.
Probably.
So, Martial could play that role. He has impressed under Ten Hag's system. I know, again, as is the norm for him, he's missed the odd game or the odd few games with niggling injuries. He didn't play at the World Cup. He didn't go to the World Cup with France, so he's had a chance to rest. What that will mean moving forward, we'll see over the next few games in the next few weeks. But yeah, those names certainly aren't going to make United any worse. But if we're talking pure out-and-out strikers, and Kemp, you're absolutely right to mention Juventus's behind-the-scenes situation at the minute could really give United the chance to get a quality striker at that level in January.
On a good deal.
For not such an outrageous price. So.
Yeah. And you look at the signing that Arsenal are trying to make. I think he's Ukrainian. The Ukrainian lad. I think they today
plays
have had
right side of midfield.
I think today they've had a £55 million bid rejected, and his club are valuing the player at £85 million. So Shakhtar Donetsk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he's coming from, and 60 million euros, I think, is the fee.
They get a lot of money for their players that perform. Fred played for them before he.
I think
United
my point is
a lot of money for him.
Yeah, and I think my point is that United don't want to be in that position. They were in that position with Sancho for so long. United need to prove that they're competent at keeping deals on the down low and literally only announcing or letting the media. They need to prove that, though, that letting the media know last minute when the deal's basically done, and hopefully they can get a couple of deals done before the end of the window, because I think they need it.
Yeah, Aggie, have you got anyone in mind, mate?
I'm going to probably absolutely butcher his name, but the name that I've seen linked, and I think Scholes mentioned it first of all, is Christopher Nkunku.
I thought you were going to say
toenails
then. He's signed for Chelsea, hasn't he? That's done. That'll go through in the summer.
I was going to say that's one that I've heard, but Chelsea, like you mentioned, with mentioning it to the media and allowing people to know about a couple of these players before.
On snacks?
What?
Did you say? Did you actually? Oh, you said mention. So I thought you were actually saying munching.
My speech isn't half as bad as you're making it out sound. None of you.
Wait, fucking feet out.
See? So I sit here quiet for about 20 minutes, letting you all speak, and as soon as I say something, you give me another reason to stay quiet for the next fucking 20 minutes.
Mate, no, I'm not apologising after that intro you give me. I'm still.
I'm not asking for an apology, mate. I've told you this is what will happen throughout the call.
What you say?
Show.
Yeah, the show. Throughout the show, I said this is what will happen, which is why I gave you the introduction that I gave you.
Chelsea as well.
What's his name? Uskos. Oh, and Koku. Yeah. Chelsea signed him, mate. It'll be official in the summer.
They've also agreed, from what I'm understanding, a deal for Enzo Fernandez. who
No. You see, I've seen differently than that, and this
Right,
is where
okay.
our sources will change. It's got 120 million euro,
Nice.
120 million euro release clause on him, and I think Chelsea
Spend
are
FIFA,
hesitant.
isn't it?
Yes, they are hesitant to pay that. So unless Chelsea want to fork out 120 million euro for a player that is a relative unknown, I'd say at this point still, I think it would be fair to say.
Liverpool could do
They,
him.
they have
I'm
bid
hearing
for
it's
they have bid
105 and they've
115,
agreed.
haven't they?
I didn't realise they bid 115.
Yeah,
I thought they'd said no.
No, they've made the offer of 115, but Benfica ain't got back to them on it yet.
Right. Okay. Well, that's news
They're
to
busy.
me. That's interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Aggie, I know we're talking about transfers because the transfer window is open, but your boys Chesterfield, shout out to Modu, will no doubt turn the volume up on this section to hear this. But National League doesn't have a transfer window, but as it stands, Chesterfield sit 11 points behind Notts County with 2 games in hand, and 7 points behind Wrexham with a game in hand. So there's a bit of a gap that's starting to build between Chesterfield and those 2 top sides. Is there any sort of positions that you think you need to sort of really start looking at strengthening sooner rather than later if you're going to start pushing for that automatic promotion spot?
Yeah, striker. Shamanga hasn't been the same since he came back from injury, and it's one of them sort of injuries where it either makes
He's
a
only
player's
just
career.
started.
Shawaddy.
See, yeah, he's not really got back at all from that injury
Since
in
I
the
had a
same
word
form
with
as
him at
before.
Nuffield and said he'd got me promotion with Southend, it'd gone to his head and he's not come back sane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, as you mentioned that as a joke, it was actually like shortly after the old Birmingham saga that it seems to have taken a downward spiral. And I don't think he's putting less effort in, but there's certain challenges that now he's trying to knock the ball past the player and he's not putting that sort of extra effort in to get to the challenge anymore, possibly for a worry of being injured. And you know, when you get an injury that takes you out for about 11 months, it's always going to have
in the
that
back
sort
of your head,
it's
isn't
always
it?
going to be in the back of your head. And I think we need a striker that's going to be able to come out there and score us goals to keep us extremely competitive with County and Wrexham. I can't see us keeping up with them. I think eventually they're going to push on, and I think Wrexham will probably win the league if Langstaff does leave Notts County in January. I think he's got Football League sides looking at him already, which doesn't surprise me at all. So I think Wrexham will go on and win the league. I think it'll be us and Notts County second and third. I still think we'll be considerably further ahead than some of the other sides in the playoffs. But then as it comes to playing the playoffs, it's just like you say, isn't it? Your favourite phrase, any given Sunday. And anything can happen in the playoffs. So I'm not fully confident, but we do need a striker and we need somebody that's going to be able to score us goals. And unfortunately, with the amount we're paying other players at the moment, we aren't in a position to be able to fork out money to convince somebody to drop down from League 2 to the National League to score us plenty of goals, pretty much like Wrexham are.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Just on the nature of, well, I say on the nature of the Blues.
Have you got your big plate, Alan?
A team that's alive and well rather than a dead team in the National League. It's also been released today that it looks as though Chelsea are signing Benoit Badiashile from Monaco, centre back.
Benoit Blanc.
35 mil.
Benoit Blanc.
Butchered his name too badly. But yeah, it looks like he's going in as well to bolster their defence. So I think if, Nkunku, Badiashile and a few other announcements get made by Chelsea, I think there's another Fofana coming in as well from Mulder, David Fofana, to
spending, aren't they?
Their ranks. So I think hopefully it's going to be a good window for Chelsea fans and for Chelsea themselves, because I think personally they're the side in the in brackets top 6 that need to do the most business, and it looks like they've started hot. So definitely keeping an eye on Chelsea this transfer window.
That answers the question I was going to ask you about what side you think needs to do a lot of business during January. Yeah, Skin. What about
it's got to be Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea in answer to that question, mate. They've been in shock and form. Potter's come in, new owners have come in. This is his first transfer window. I believe he joined. Well, it was just towards the end, weren't it? I think he joined or just after. It was just after. I think closed, so.
Aubameyang didn't he sign to go and play for Tuchel, and then they got rid of him like a day or two later.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so his first transfer window, we'll see. But yeah, out of the sort of bigger sides, they're definitely the ones that need a big focus on this window. Quick question, Aggie: have you got a Premier League team that you sort of keep half an eye on, or you would class as like your Premier League team? Like a lot of people that support sort of the lower league teams, they do have that sort of top team
Soft
or
spot.
a bit of a soft spot for.
I don't really, if I'm honest with you. No, sorry.
Go fuck myself.
No, I'm
Sam's
afraid
soft
not.
spot for United went when Derby obviously weren't a lower league team, but now they are. It seems to be coming back a little bit as well. I think Sam's definitely, affiliation with Man United is definitely coming back because obviously he does need a side that's, plays professional football. He's not got that at the minute, has he? So,
Wow.
Go fuck
I'm
yourself.
sorry, mate. I'm so sorry.
Wow, I
Everyone's
don't know where
at
that's
Sam.
come from.
So let's move on
I've
to.
got 2 words for you, Kemp. Carlos Tevez.
I've got 2 words for you. Sean Bean.
Oh, bastard.
Front of picket line, he wear, bless him.
Loved it.
Right, let's move on to discuss this week's locks of the week.
Oh, here we
and
go.
Wild
The main
cards.
event.
There we go.
Fucking hell.
I did spin the wheel earlier. We'll stick with the same results for both football and the NFL locks, which means up first this week is Mr. Kemp.
Oh, man with the mic. Oh, okay. So my lock. Oh, I got 3 to choose from because I didn't think it would come to me first. I think I'm going to go with Liverpool.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Friday night against Leicester, yeah?
Am I just taking everyone's? Yeah, it's the Friday night game against Leicester. Leicester looked a little bit better going into the international break, but unfortunately their most recent performance against Newcastle, who are a decent team, but they looked pretty woeful, and Liverpool really did come out the traps. So if they can, especially if they do get Gakpo over the line, he won't be playing because I don't think he'll be registered in time, but hopefully that'll give him a bit of a boost. And Liverpool, I think, will take the comfortable win. So Liverpool are my lock of the week.
He won't be registered in time for Friday. He can't move until Sunday.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. He won't be registered in time.
Oh my God! How's Jeno going on?
That's all right.
Yeah, he's criticising me for saying something that I said.
You don't think he'll be registered in time?
He won't.
Definitely won't be registered.
Yeah, Kemp definitely implied that he would be signed but not registered in time. So I'm with Aggie on this one. No, I'm with Aggie on this one. No, you implied
he won't be
registered
in time
and with the team, but won't be registered in time.
He won't be registered in time. So why does it make any difference? Why does it make any difference if he's signed?
I understand. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying I understand why Aggie asked that follow-up.
I've had enough. Sam, I know how you feel now, mate. I've had enough.
It's all good. It's all good.
Liverpool on Friday.
I'm a pariah.
Second on the list is Skin.
Right.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's all right, mate. I've got yours. For my lock of the week, and Sam, you say fuck's sake, mate, but I've not let you down so far. Chesterfield were my backup.
I knew it. I knew Chesterfield.
They're not my pick. They were my backup in case my first choice was taken. I picked Chesterfield recently, and they didn't let me down. They did win that week, so shut your fucking mouth. But this week, I am going
because you can see him from outside your front door. You lazy cunt. That's why you
can hear him. I can hear him, mate. I don't have to check the score. I just hear that they've scored. I am going Monday afternoon, 2nd of January. Top of League 2 Stevenage. Oh, sorry, second in League 2 Stevenage, should I say, to beat bottom of League 2 Gillingham. So that is my pick. Yeah, reasonings for that. Stevenage at home this season have played 11 games and taken 28 points from that. They've scored 20 goals and only conceded 5. Gillingham's away form, they have taken 4 points from 10 away games. They've only scored 2 goals away all season. And conceded 13. And current form, Stevenage in the last 5 games have scored 7, only conceding 1. And Gillingham haven't scored in their last 5 games, conceding 8 and only taking a point. So I think that for me is the lockest of locks for this weekend. Stevenage against Gillingham on Monday afternoon.
Nice one. Next up is Sam.
So I am going to go Manchester City at home to beat Everton.
Nice.
I haven't got any research whatsoever because I had Liverpool, and I did have a backup as Newcastle to beat Leeds, but then I've just seen Man City to beat Everton at home. Don't know why I'm babbling, but I need a lock to come in this week, boys.
Yeah, you're desperate.
I've got to back City at home to beat Everton. Please give me.
You can have it, mate. Look, the lock is the result that you are most confident in. You took Liverpool were taken. Man City's your backup. Aggie, last to go for the second week in a row.
Yeah, I did have Man City to beat Everton, so I'm going to go for my backup, which is Chelsea to win away at Notts Forest.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He loves the away game, doesn't he?
It doesn't bother me
It
when they're
really
loves
away.
upsets me on a bet slip and away game as
It's
well,
just
so I
Yeah.
understand where
Chelsea
Sam's
and
coming from.
all.
Yeah,
Chelsea
Early
and all.
kick-off
Forest,
and away,
look.
just leave it, don't you?
I don't think it's early kick-off. I think I'll be all right now. I think it's
No,
Sunday.
it's saying don't back the early kick-off as a rule.
Oh,
It's not
right. Sorry,
saying
I
it
thought
is.
you meant it was. No, that's
No.
fair. No, to win away against Notts Forest, who were absolutely dreadful against Man United at the weekend. Chelsea won 2-0 against Bournemouth. I thought they played some decent football as well, considering the fact they don't have an out-and-out striker. I think going up against Forest, they'll have enough to beat them. But if it doesn't come in, I'll apologise to nobody.
You'll reimburse me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Full £10.
I'll reimburse you.
Me going last means that I get to go first, though, for the scorer. And I'm stuck between two. And I think I'm going to go for Harry Kane to score for Spurs at home to Aston Villa. I think it goes under the radar a little bit of just how many he's scoring because everyone's eyes are on Erling Haaland. Harry Kane is the second top goal scorer in the Premier League with 13 goals in 16 games. So I think against Aston Villa, I think he'll be all right to get 1 or 2. So I'm going to go with Harry Kane. Sam?
Yeah, and I'm just going with the guy you've just mentioned because I am sweating it this week because I need some results to come my way. So I'm going Haaland.
You fucking prick. Here's my pick.
Haaland at home against Everton. 18 Premier League goals in 13 appearances. That is my scorer this weekend. Thank you.
Dickhead.
Okay, Skin?
Oh, yes, I'm next. I thought... no, Kemp's next, isn't he?
Nope.
Oh, no, he
No,
was
it's you,
first.
mate. Yeah,
So I'm fine. Therefore, I am going to go to the game in which Kemp has picked his lock, Liverpool versus Leicester, and I am taking Mohamed Salah as my lock for the scorers this week.
Nicely done. Kemp?
I am going to go with Mitrovic
was
as
my
my
backup.
scorer this week. Haaland was my first choice. Mitrovic was my backup. He scored over the weekend. He's had a fantastic season so far. Southampton, who Fulham are playing against, I believe, are bottom of the league and have conceded 30 goals this season so far. So, yeah, and Fulham are having a great season. So I think Mitrovic will be a lock as a goal scorer.
That's a fair shout.
10 and 13.
Yeah, it's over to you now for Wildcard, Kemp.
My wildcard of the week, I'm picking this one on a bloody hope and a prayer. Swansea City at home against Burnley. It's not for any reason.
Ooh.
It's not for any reason more than I hope Burnley slip up so that Sheffield United can go top of the league. So my wild card of the week is Swansea City at home.
Nice. Skin?
I have based this on Bucky's favourites, and I was surprised to see this, so I'm going to take a shot. But my wild card this weekend is Bournemouth to beat Crystal Palace.
All right. I'm surprised that's Bournemouth. Surprised that's Bournemouth on
Bournemouth
favourites.
at home.
Yeah, Palace at Bucky's favourites.
Wow.
That's a weird one.
No,
Yeah, I thought so.
count, so you can have it. Sam?
I don't know about anybody else, but I've really struggled this week to pick
I struggled.
anything really. Even like we're going to talk about NFL later, but even in NFL, I really struggled to pick a lock.
The only thing I didn't struggle with this week is the locks for football. I feel like there's quite a few teams that are playing. I mean, we've just all picked locks there that I think we're fairly comfortable with in terms of wins. So that's the only one that I'm not too worried about. But everything else, yeah, it's not been too easy. I don't think I do agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with. Let me just double check. I'm going to go with MK Dons to beat Peterborough away. So
Okay.
MK Dons are currently 21st in the league. Peterborough 8th. However, MK Dons have won the last 2, and they've only lost 1 in the last 4. Peterborough have lost 4 out of the last 5, not winning any of them. So I'm going to go Peterborough to lose at home to MK Dons.
What day is that? Because all I can see for MK Dons is they're playing on Sunday away to Plymouth.
Oh, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Let me have a look.
And they're not playing Friday, so I'm not sure.
They're playing. They're playing tomorrow, aren't they? Shite. Let me have a
Is
look
it Thursday?
Yeah, I've just let me. I'm scrambling there. I think I've picked another wrong one and all. My backup, I think I've picked for Borough to beat Blackburn away. I think they're playing tomorrow and all. They are fucking hell.
I've
Right,
got-
Just while we're
I've
on
got,
the
Borough to beat
just while we're
Blackburn
on the
as my
subject,
backup.
just before you go on with yours, Adam, you just mentioned there, and again, I'm not very good when it comes to knowing which odds are greater for which team when they're not like drastic, if that makes sense, when it's close. So I've got on Sky Bet here. Did you have Bournemouth beating Crystal Palace, Dawson? Is that right?
I did, mate. Yeah.
Bournemouth on Sky Bet. This is on Sky Bet. Are 15-8. Crystal Palace is 6-4. So you have Bournemouth winning, right?
Yeah.
Now
So
I don't want the bit to be a silence.
Well, Palace would be favourites because if they're 6-4, you double both of that. That's 12-8, which is a lower odds than 15-8.
Right. Okay. I did
Got
say
it?
that I didn't. I did say that I didn't really know odds that well.
Well, there you go. I've explained it.
It is close though. That, to be fair, and I don't think it's
close.
actually a bad pick because I think the only reason Palace lost over the weekend is because they got 2 men sent off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good pick, and like I say, I think I need to just go to school a little bit for my odds. Adam, while we're waiting for Sam, if he's not ready.
No, it's good, mate. Thank you very much for that. You give me enough time to go and pick one. So I'm going to pick Brighton to beat Arsenal at home.
Now I've got to find one.
That
were my first one, and Middlesbrough Blackburn were my backup. So I need to find something else now.
Yeah,
why? No one's had Middlesbrough Blackburn.
No, it's the same.
Right, it's not. Yeah.
Same mistake as what I just did. Yeah,
Sam, break it down, mate.
I've got absolutely nothing to break it down. You fucking know that.
Adam, break it down for why Sam's just gone Brighton.
Tell me why I've just picked Brighton.
I think Brighton are a good side. I think I'm going to go back on everything I've said about how Arsenal are still going to win this league.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I still think, despite the fact that Brighton are going to win this game this weekend, Arsenal are still going to win the league. I think Brighton are a very good side that will have a lot of confidence knowing the fact they're in 7th place. They're going up against a little bit of an injury hit Arsenal side. They struggled to begin with against West Ham. Like I say, Brighton will be full of confidence, and they know that with a win, they can close the gap on the top 4, but also break themselves into the top 6 as well.
Tell you what, though.
Confident now, Sam?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not confident. Martin Odegaard was absolutely class against West Ham, by the way.
Yeah, he's having a very good season.
Yeah,
just before we do jump on to the next bit, it was confirmed 11 minutes ago as we record that Cody Gakpo has been announced by Liverpool. So there you go.
Nice. Happy days. And just while we buy Aggie a little bit of time, just to let you lads know, in case you're not keeping an eye on it, City leads 1-0, just kicked off in the second half. Rodri scored
just before half time.
That is correct.
Yeah,
so
and just to keep you all up to date on, I keep my my locks going. I was just doing them as we go along on my betting app. Just again giving Aggie a bit more time. Currently, the fourfold stands at 2.79 to 1, so it's a very low ACRA for a fourfold. That's what a lock should look like, to be honest. It shouldn't really ever, in my opinion, shouldn't really ever go above 100 to 1 for 8 locks. So yeah, it's just shy of 3 to 1. But obviously, we're going to have another 4 teams to that when we pick our NFL locks. So yeah, I'll keep you updated with that.
Aggie, have you got a wild card for football this weekend?
Yeah, similar to Sam, there's absolutely no logic behind me picking this, but I'm going for Portsmouth to beat Ipswich. We seem to
break it down.
We seem to go. Yeah, I'll do my best. We seem to be going for Ipswich a lot, and they seem to be one of those Jekyll and Hyde sides that just can't seem to reach any sort of form.
Hyde.
Well, there you go. You can't seem to reach any sort of form. And Portsmouth, I think, have lost 1 in the last 4. And with games in hand, they're 5 points off the playoffs, and they have 3 games in hand over some of these sides. So I think Portsmouth, although the fixture congestion will eventually catch up with them, I think for now we'll have an eye on that playoff position.
Aggie, I'm going to fucking slap you, mate.
What?
When do Portsmouth play Ipswich?
Oh, mate, don't.
No way.
Fuck off.
No way. It's
Thursday.
not done it again.
Thursday. Fuck's sake. I'm just looking at sides. This is ridiculous.
Get your fucking... What you got teletext up? Get a fucking app, man, where it's listed by date.
I'm on BBC Sport at the moment looking. I'm just trying to find a side that's like not high up in the league.
No fucking wonder you got it wrong if you're on BBC Sport. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Fuck my ass. Sorry.
Matt Villa away at Spurs.
Let me have a look. What are we going to go for?
Don't give it him. Let him do it. Kent, what did you have for tea, mate?
I've not had anything yet.
Oh, what you having?
I've just been. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have anything because I've just been snacking all day on, just sandwiches
Best.
and over,
that time of year,
leftovers and stuff. And
How at Curry, by the way? How at Curry?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you.
Bless
Lovely.
You. Yeah. I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you the other day actually.
I always think about you. I always think about you. Yeah.
Kemp's Christmas tradition is Christmas Eve Miller and Carter, Christmas Day the usual, and then Boxing Day a turkey curry using leftover turkey.
Do you mind if I ask what's your seasoning?
What's recipe?
Yeah, just give us a couple of a couple of herbs and spices that goes on turkey.
Oh Jesus Christ! Now you're talking, aren't you? God. And the thing is, as well, you're really making me struggle because I literally follow a Jamie Oliver recipe literally by the book.
Oh, okay.
So get book. Readers.
Ag will still be picking now. We've got time.
And I'll still pick Thursday. Right, I've got one. I've got one. You're fine.
I'll be about to pick Leeds for
Boxing Day curry. Yeah, just on City
2-0. Erling's just
scored. Yeah,
my boy.
It's funny you should say I'm going to pick Leeds because I am going to pick Leeds to win at Newcastle on
if you've just
Saturday.
seen that pass to let Grealish in there and set up Haaland, you probably won't be picking Leeds.
Look, mate, I haven't seen the pass. I've picked two teams that are playing on Thursday night. I'm clutching at straws. I'm going to go for Leeds to beat Newcastle. Don't put your money on it, but there you go. That's what I'm going with.
That's got to be the least convincing wildcard I've ever had in my entire life.
It's up there, isn't it?
If it happens, though, I'll take a lot of credit on Monday, so it's absolutely fine. Right, we will move on to be discussing Week 17 of the NFL season.
Penultimate. Here we go.
It is.
Your special. You do.
Welcome back to episode 17 of Loaded Sport.
Come and get your bum day. Bam.
Yeah, crack on.
And there goes the listeners that we did have.
Week 17, penultimate week of the regular season. It's heating up. We're almost at the best weekend of the year, lads, and that's Wildcard weekend. 2 weeks away.
We are, and there's been plenty of news just before the season is due to end. We'll start with JJ Watt's retirement. Now, you guys will know a lot more about his time in Houston than I will. I think I saw him for one season in Houston before he moved to the Cards. So yeah, Skin, we'll start with you.
Sam said it best. What a man, a player that Texans fans absolutely rinsed the organization when they took him 11th overall, I think it was, or it was just inside or just outside the top 10 when they drafted him. Yes, out of Sam's hometown, Wisconsin or home state, Wisconsin.
No, I'll take hometown, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. He was absolutely phenomenal in his prime. Injuries over the years. Like any player playing at that level in that sport, it's not the gentlest of things on the body. But what a player! 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, sack leader year on year. Teams couldn't handle him despite playing in a defense that wasn't that great. They had very good players, when JJ Watt was in his prime, but was by no means a top tier defense. And he was fantastic. There's not really too much more I can say. He will be. I know, Sam, you mentioned this, and I'm sure you'll re-bring it up. But I'd probably put him in my top 3, if not top 3, definitely top 5 non-Patriots defensive players. My favourites. So yeah, he's fantastic. And one thing that I'll always remember, when Houston was hit by the hurricane that they had a few years ago, he started a fundraiser with the hope of raising, I think it was a few $100,000, and he ended up raising tens and tens and tens of millions. And that just really highlighted the kind of attachment that he had to that city and that state, the attachment that they had to him, and what kind of man that he was. So yeah, for all the accolades that he won and for all the phenomenal plays and games that he won almost single-handedly, it will always be that fundraiser and how he reacted and how he really helped out that city in the biggest time of need that will stick with me for years after he's retired. So yeah, he announced his retirement earlier this week, saying that he's played his last NFL home game. He's going to go now and enjoy his retirement with his wife, who is a professional soccer player, and his young child. And yeah, fair play to him. What a player. As Sam said, what a man. And yeah, happy retirement.
Yeah. And I'll echo what you said there, Dawson. I mean, I've got his stats in front of me. 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 5 first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL sack leader. The list goes on and on and on. But I think that the thing that a lot of the fans will remember him for is that fundraising that he did, and he was awarded the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award for that exact thing, and fully deserved. And I think he had atrial fibrillation. I think this year. Which I think has definitely contributed to the fact that he's retiring at the end of the season. 33 years of age, so he's not ridiculously old. But yeah, I mean, an absolute legend of the Houston Texans organization, if nothing else. Probably get his jersey retired, I would imagine, and a spot in the NFL Hall of Fame, and it's richly deserved. So hopefully he can go in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, enjoy his retirement, and be down there as one of the greatest defensive players in the history of the NFL.
Sam,
I ain't got a deal left to say. You've just took absolutely everything to say about him.
Talk us through the heartache of him never wearing that Packers jersey for at least a season that you always wanted.
Yeah, that's something I always wanted, and I know a lot of Packers fans are the same. Being from Wisconsin as he is, and playing for the Badgers, I just he grew up a Packers fan as well, and I just think when he left the Texans, I just thought it was just such a perfect time for him just to go to the Packers, and just have a couple of Super Bowl cracks with us, a couple of Super Bowl efforts. I know we made the postseason last few years in a row. Just having him there, I think, would have been unreal, absolutely unreal. I know he's been plagued with injuries and he's got a bad back, bless him, which is one of the reasons why he's retiring. But yeah, I've always wanted him as a Green Bay Packer. He is my all-time favourite defensive player who's not played for Green Bay. And I'm glad Kemp brought it up about the Walter Payton Man of the Year, because you can bet diamonds that the 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards he won probably meant nothing to him as much as winning that Walter Payton Man of the Year award, just for his efforts on that hurricane. So yeah, what a man.
Absolutely. There's been some news released as well regarding quarterback changes ahead of the final 2 games of the season. We'll start with the situation in Vegas, and that is that Derek Carr will not be starting this weekend. Seems we've gone from Skin to Sam. We'll start Sam this time. Your thoughts on Derek Carr?
Come back, Devante. Come back, baby. It makes sense. It makes sense. That's the only reason he's gone over there, bless him, is to play with his old college teammate, Derek Carr. And it's been dropped already, and it looks like they're probably going to move on from him in the off season, which is a massive slap in the face for Adams. It's not really. He's never really blew us away, has he? Carr, Derek. I can't say David Carr, but it's his brother, Derek Carr. He's always been a pretty middle of the road quarterback that's been able to throw it deep, but he's always got a turnover in him. And yeah, that's essentially what's cost him the starting gig in Vegas.
Kemp, anything to add?
No, nothing particularly to add to that. I think Jarrett Stidham has earned his shot for me. He's always looked like he's a pretty promising player when you've seen him suit up. I think it's a good opportunity for him to start for the remainder of the year. Carr is out for this season. Is he out for good? That's the main question for me. Obviously, he's not going to be suiting up for the rest of this season, but how does his future in Las Vegas look going forward? Because I don't think it's cut and dry that they're just going to give Stidham a chance and give Carr a bit of a rest. So it's going to be a very interesting off season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Derek Carr suit up for another franchise next year.
Mate, you were fucking shit at Patriots. Dawson's going to try and say it. That surprised me. I know you kept calling him Studham, and
that was it. It was ironic, mate.
Okay, I'll let you off. He was shit for Patriots. I don't think he's ever looked particularly good.
I'm not sure. I've seen bits of him, but I also saw bits in Davis Webb as well. So
there you go.
And he calls DJ the GOAT.
DJ is the GOAT.
I'm gonna stick with starting with Sam on this one because after the discussion we had,
mate, I didn't want to say it anyway.
Oh, you wanted to? Okay, you had about Derek Carr then.
No, it's fine, mate. I'm not welcome to.
Right, Sam, I'm going to come across to you first of all to ask you this question because last week we spoke about the outside chance that Green Bay have of making it into the playoffs. Well, it was announced earlier this week that Wentz will be starting for the Commanders for the remainder of the season, providing there's no injuries. What are your thoughts on Wentz starting for the Commanders? Do you think that makes it an easier opportunity for Green Bay to make it in and Washington only get that one win that you need?
Good King Wenceslas. No, you know what? Actually, I think it's going to make it a bit harder for us. And I know people are going to say it's shit, and it is shit. Let's be fair, but it's just always stuck with me that he has had that one MVP caliber season, and I just always think in the back of my mind, is this where he turns it on a bit? And I think it might put the Commanders in a better position to win the last two than if Heineke would. Wentz has been there and done that and got
He's
the
got
Eagles.
that experience in the deep end. Yeah,
deep into December, deep in the cavities of December. How's that not got? By the way,
because that you made me laugh.
I'm joking there. No, I think it decreases Green Bay's chances. Funnily enough, I think that might be an unpopular opinion as well.
We need Commanders to lose one of the final
one of two,
don't you? That's part of it. Yeah.
I do want to ask as well about the playoff situation because you explained to me that you play Detroit. Obviously, Washington need to lose one of the two.
Just for the record, the Commanders have got the Browns and the Cowboys.
There you go. So it's realistic they could lose at least one, namely the Cowboys. The Giants would need to lose two for you to be able to get in the playoff position there. I'm not quite sure. This is a genuine question because I don't understand all the head-to-heads and everything. Okay. We are currently above you in the standings. How does us having results not affect you getting into the playoffs?
That's the Seattle Seahawks being ahead of Green Bay Packers.
Sorry,
Seahawks. For anybody that doesn't know who Adam supports.
So you're not above us. So we've both got a tied record. We're both on 7 and 8. I think we have a better divisional record than you, which would be the tiebreaker when two teams haven't played each other.
Yeah.
So that would be why the Packers and we've got identical records. You're not above us. We're both on 7 and 8 now.
Right. So no, it's just when I've seen it laid out, it's us above you. But if there's nothing like
it's not when it's in the hunt. It's not a specific ranking.
Okay,
fair.
No, that's right. Yeah. So, all we need to do, just the bottom line, is we need to win that out against the Vikings and the Lions, which is don't take that for granted at all because I know that's no easy feat. But then we also need Washington to at least lose once against the Browns or the Cowboys, which I do think will happen. I do think that will definitely happen. It's just a matter of if we can win out or not.
And for us to make it, we need the exact same as what you need, but also you to lose.
Exactly. Yeah, you need one more. So, I think that Miami game was a big game for us. Really big game away in Miami against a really good football team. I know they're on the back of lost 3 against 3 really competitive teams in 3 really competitive games, actually. But it was one that I thought, if earmark that game, if you can win that game in Miami, then there's absolutely no reason why we can't win our last 2 games, both at home against 2 divisional rivals who they've both beaten us this season. Lions and Vikings have both beaten us this season, so we have every reason to have a chip on our shoulder going into that game and a point to prove in both of these games. To think those 2 teams cannot roll us over for the season. And if Green Bay do beat the Vikings, I know I'm looking a game ahead here. If Green Bay do beat the Vikings, you have to be confident going into that last game at home against the Lions.
It's going to be an interesting conversation this time next week, isn't it, when we're going through our individual games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Save it.
We've got to talk about Vikings first. Save that for next week. But.
Yeah, it's heating up nicely, and I know about maybe not even 5 weeks ago. I think about 3 weeks ago, I says, scrap everything, wait to go for next season. But I just think now that we're here and we're this close to it, I didn't think it would be possible, to be honest with you. And I know this is me being biased. I don't care what anyone says. Nobody wants to face Green Bay in the playoffs coming in hot because that's what happened.
Niners.
Unless you're the Niners, they're the only ones that couldn't give a shit and they'd probably batter us regardless. But, an experienced QB in Rodgers against anyone who's coming in, I know we'd probably play who is it as it stands? Would it be the Vikings? Wouldn't it? It would be the Vikings on Wildcard
'cause you'd have
weekend.
the lower seed, yeah.
Yeah, high seed versus lowest seed. So Packers Vikings, they don't want to see us in the playoffs. I know they don't, especially a divisional game. So yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit of a buzz for it.
Great news. Skin, just been announced at the time of this recording. It looks, I know we spoke off air about how close you and Helena were with the Super Bowl in the Work Fantasy Football League, but as it's now been announced that Derrick Henry looks set to miss out on Thursday night's game, so you've got a chance to change your lock, which is, I'm sure, for the 3rd out of 4 weeks is Derrick Henry again.
Mate. It's not, mate. It's not. I've not picked Derrick Henry this week purely because Dallas Cowboys have a very good rush defense. But yeah, seeing that news of it's likely he's out, not definitely, but likely. But you know, how many times do we see in the news before a game they're likely to be out? It does tend to be pretty accurate when that report comes out. So yeah, Helena having Derrick Henry as her leading rusher, that's big for me. That as I head into the fantasy Super Bowl. So yeah, good news for me. Not so much for Helena and anyone else out there that's got Henry starting in their fantasy league finals this weekend.
Not good at all, that.
Okay, let's move on to the locks of the week. Then we're
not talking about our teams first, Aggie, and doing our predictions.
Just me, apparently.
You didn't even give a prediction on Vikings game.
Let's move on to discuss the teams that we support. Sam, go on. Then we've just heard you talking about Green Bay, so we'll ask you for a prediction and anything else you want to add to it.
I'm gonna die on your hill here, and I'm not gonna give one this week. I really can't call it. I think they're favourites despite us being at home. I just think it's going to be pretty poor weather conditions again in Lambeau, and any kind of Packers
Cousins in prime time as well.
It's not prime time, mate. It's 9:25. It's
same thing though. Outside of 6 o'clock, you don't like it.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give a prediction. I'm not even going to say who's going to win. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Bum's twitching a bit there. You know what I'm like for jinxing. So I'm not going to say who's going to win this time. But just be sure that Justin Jefferson's going to run all over our backfield.
Nice. Go on, Aggie. Do the prediction for him.
I'm not doing a prediction for him. My personal opinion is that the Vikings will win again. But
there you go. Then that's your prediction.
I'm going Green Bay via a very late Mason Crosby field goal.
Oh, is it? Fancy yours?
I feel like I can't tell you who I'm going with because it will ruin one of my later lock/picks.
Leave it then, mate. Save it.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so Kemp, we'll go to you next for Giants Colts.
Yes. The New York Football Giants are going to win the game. I think we had a little bit of a dip, bit of a low point. Obviously lost again last week, but that was a very, very close game. So I think we're going to get it done. The Colts haven't set anybody on fire this season so far. So I think the Giants are going to get the win, and hopefully that'll be enough to take us into Wildcard week.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I can't wait for next week. It's going to be the last week. We are playing the Dolphins, mate. Announced earlier today that it looks like Teddy Bridgewater will be playing for the Dolphins after Tua yet again entered concussion protocol. I don't know. Historically, we've got a very good record at Gillette Stadium against the Dolphins. Dolphins are struggling for form at the moment. They've lost the last 4. Or actually, they've lost. The last 4. They are, however, all against very good teams. It's tough. You all know my thoughts on the Patriots' performances this season. I've got to pick, and I've got to pick. I am going to say Dolphins by a touchdown.
You guys winning, there's a very real chance you could actually make it into the playoffs still, isn't there?
Yeah, we're still in the hunt, mate. Still in the hunt, but I don't know. They've not fully convinced me at all this season. As we well know, we've spoken about it enough times, as I say, playing the Bills next week as well. So it's not like they've got an easy game to close off the season. And Bills are likely to still be playing their starters, seeing as Chiefs will have an equal record, so they'll be going for that number 1 seed. So yeah, I've got no confidence at all. So yeah, Dolphins by 7.
Okay. Seahawks against Jets. I actually feel quietly confident in this, which means I'm not going to say too much about it, but I do feel like
back, maybe.
Yeah,
Jets by 10.
He is, and that's worried me a little bit. But I still think we're going to have enough to see them off and at least keep ourselves inside the hunt for the playoffs. One more week. I'm not going to go with the score prediction, but I am going to say that I think
They're on
we'll.
a 4-game loss, Jets. They can't buy a win at a minute. I think.
But again, they've been playing good sides, and Mike White's back. Jets by 10.
Lost at Lions.
Yeah, but we've also on a 3-game losing
been
streak.
In fucking great form. Let's not act like they haven't. Jared Goff's been one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league over the last 6 weeks.
50 quid.
Yeah, if you're a playoff hopeful, you should be wanting to beat them.
They lost the last 4. We've lost the last 3. So both teams
Mike
just
White's
as bad
back.
as each other.
Jets by 10. Mike White throws it for at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay, there you go. Right, let's move on to the locks of the week. We will follow the same order that we did for the football, which means, Kemp, it's over to you.
Oh, sexy. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they're going to put another foot wrong for the rest of the season. I think they're going to beat the Saints comfortably this week, and I think they're going to beat the Giants comfortably next week. So the Philadelphia Eagles are my lock of the week. Sorry, Sam.
It's okay.
Skin?
Aggie, did you say they were yours as well?
They were mine, yeah.
Oh, mate, Kemp's took you all out. I think, Aggie, you need to start doing a separate wheel for NFL just to mix it up, but we'll see. My lock of the week this week is it's in the LA Derby. It is Los Angeles Chargers to beat the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay. Sam?
I mean, I just want to stay on Dawson's just for a second. My money's going on here. Rams have just put up 51.
Yes, I know they have, mate.
Oh dear, I'm not sure how I feel about.
Do you want to know my backup?
No, it's fine.
I'm not changing my pick. I'm just saying I had Jags as my backup, which I'm sure you or Aggie will look at now against the Texans. But
no, I'd already got a backup written down.
No, that's got a trap game written all over that. I was going to say this when I mentioned earlier in the episode that I struggled picking a lock for the NFL. I really struggled, to be honest with you. And I was just flicking through a couple of games, and I was looking at Titans, Cowboys. I thought, no, Patriots, Dolphins, both even. Eagles, Saints was the one I landed on. So obviously I'm going to reshuffle, and I have got a backup that hasn't been chosen. And I'll tell you what, this is going to, on paper, this sounds like an absolute routine win.
Lock. Yeah.
No, it's a routine win, it sounds like, but I honestly don't think it is, and I'm kind of begrudging picking it. And it's going to be the Chiefs at home against the Broncos.
That's my second. Right now I'm going to have to look.
So the reason why I'm a bit unsure is you never know how a team responds once that head coach goes. Once the Broncos have lost their head coach now, they're all essentially, everyone's starting again. They've hit the restart button. They're all playing for the positions again. And they're going to give the Chiefs a really tough game, but I've struggled so much this week picking one. As I say, I normally, as a rule of thumb, can look at anyone who the Texans are playing and I'll back them. But they're playing the Jags, and with it being a divisional game, the Texans, as we know, can turn up for these divisional games. Look what they did against what we all fancied them against the Titans, and they pulled that one off. So it's all across the board this week. I've really struggled for a lot, but I am going to settle on Chiefs at home against the Broncos.
Well, just to quickly swing back to mine for a second while Aggie has yet another look, but I always do my research. I take it very seriously. I pride myself on my success rate. And I know you mentioned there Rams are just coming off of that 50-plus game, but I think that is a lot due to how bad Denver are or were, as much as how good Rams were in that game. Broncos are in absolute shambles, as we all know. As you mentioned there, they've now fired the head coach, which we spoke about earlier in the week. Chargers are hitting some form. They've won 4 out of the last 5. They've beaten some decent teams or some playoff-bound teams in Miami and Titans as well. Won very comfortably against the Colts last week, and I think they've just got a lot of form and confidence behind them at the moment. That's why they're my lock of the week. So trust me, brother.
Okay, I've looked through and there's only one that I've managed to come across that's not been mentioned, and it's probably going out there at the moment. It's Niners to beat Raiders.
Nice. The 4th team in the NFL, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's gone Jags. I know Texans are coming off a win and we all wanted them, but Jags were my backup. To beat Houston, Jags are one of the informed teams in the National Football League, but Niners is a great pick.
You know what? The more I'm thinking about that Niners pick, I do like it. Especially now that we know there's going to be no Derek Carr, and Stidham's an absolute unknown entity. So I think it's a good pick from you, actually.
That's what I'll stick with then. I'll go with that one. Moving on to the scorers.
We're not about Kemp.
Kemp started.
He went first, mate. He's got Eagles, hasn't he?
Oh, has he gone Eagles?
Yeah, that's why you had to change.
I've missed one then. Who have I got? Oh, I've missed Dawson's. What's Dawson's again?
LA Chargers.
Oh no, Chargers.
Rams.
Yeah, Rams. Yeah.
Of course it is. My bad. Crack on.
Right. So with my scorer, I've looked into this and I'm quite comfortable and happy with it. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been swearing by Jerick McKinnon. That obsession's over, and I've turned my attention to the second best fantasy football running back option through the playoffs for fantasy football. He's second only to Saquon Barkley. He has 183 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns in his last 2 games. He faces the Chargers, who are allowing 1 touchdown per game against running backs and 124 yards on average per game to running backs. I'm going for Cam Akers.
Nice.
Wow.
That's the choice I'm sticking with. Sam?
I'm going to go for a bloke I mentioned earlier, and it's going to be Justin Jefferson to score against the Green Bay Packers. He's got 4 touchdowns in his 5 career games against us, and his yardage is just stupid. So I am going to go for Justin Jefferson, and a little spoiler alert, it's going to have something to do with my wild card as well.
Nice. You can't go yours with picking teams.
Watch me.
Who's next?
You,
me.
Skin,
yeah. Well, I've got a feeling I'm going to take Kemp's pick, so just in case. I will give a shout out to my backup, though, for reasons that will become apparent very shortly. But the game we mentioned there, Vikings versus Packers. Packers are going to be going all out for it, as we know, with the playoff implications. Vikings tend to be a high-scoring team. I see it being a bit of a shootout game. So my backup, had my first pick been taken, would have been Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. Vikings have the worst pass defense in the league. Watson has turned into a great threat for Aaron Rodgers and a great threat deep and on the outside. So, Sam, I don't know what you think about that, but he was my...
like it. Yeah, like it. Is everything we hoped it would be when we drafted him. However, he did come off against the Dolphins with an injury.
Yeah, he's day-to-day at the minute.
He's day-to-day, so we're not sure if he is going to be fit to start against the Vikings, unfortunately.
I had that in the back of my mind, but unfortunately, like I say, I don't need to go for him. And my pick this week is CMC. He's been absolutely sensational since he joined the Niners. He's stayed fit, which we said if he could, he'll be brilliant for them. It's all worked out so far. Niners are one of, if not the informed team in the NFL. Absolutely sensational. And yeah, they're playing a Raiders team who are going to be low on confidence, starting their backup, dropping their mainstay quarterback, and looks like a win where Niners can really turn the screw now and take control of the NFC, or at least sort of that top 2 or 3 spots. So yeah, CMC is my pick this week.
Okay, Kemp.
You have not taken my pick.
Oh, you love a Niners player. I thought
I do love a Niners player, but no, I've gone for well, seeing as though I'm last, I think I'll spill my guts. I was going to go with Travis Kelce. I was under the impression and under the influence that the Broncos are a dumpster fire at the moment, and Kelce's probably the best tight end in the league. But then I thought, you know what, that's a little bit of a boring pick, so I'm going to go with Evan Engram. I like it, mate. Absolutely outstanding for the Jags this season. And if he'd have been half the player for the Jags this season as he was when he was playing for the Giants, we would be sorted at tight end position for a long time. So I'm going to go with Evan Engram. Texans are struggling, have been all season, and the Jaguars are on fire. So Evan Engram is going to be my pick, and yeah, he's my touchdown scorer for the week.
Okay,
I like it. He's starting for me at tight end in my Super Bowl, and he's been fantastic. So I'm happy with that.
He's definitely had a career renaissance in the past few weeks, most definitely.
There we go. Kemp, we'll stick with you for the wild card.
Oh baby, I'm so glad you did. I am going to go with Sam White's Green Bay Packers. I think all the hype and the talk is around Justin Jefferson. I think everybody thinks that the Packers are just going to roll over and die. But I agree with Dawson. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout, and I think the Green Bay Packers are going to come away with the W. So, yeah, my wild card is the Green Bay Packers this week.
Okay. Skin?
I, like Sam mentioned earlier, really, really struggled to highlight.
Can I just stop? I need to stop. I need to stop because, unfortunately, we can't let Kemp have that one.
Oh, okay.
The reason being, the Packers are favourites.
Interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
Are they really?
I wasn't 100%, so I thought while I'm on betting app, I'll just have a look. And the Vikings are 33-20. The Packers are 20-37. We're actual favourites on that.
That
doesn't surprise me too much with the form. You're at home in that weather at that time.
Okay.
So that doesn't surprise me a huge amount, to be honest.
Right, fair enough. Well, I'll stand corrected. I'm not going to let anybody else go first because there's not that many to choose from.
You see my next pick, mate. I'll be fucking fuming.
So yeah, I'm just gonna just mumble on for a moment while I decide my.
Sam, I was kebab and curry house.
Oh, good mate. It come quite late. I must admit, it was about an hour and a half. But yeah,
it's risky take though with distance in it. Like
it is. To be fair, you can't. I did give him a quick call, just ask what job were, and as usual, it's just set off, mate.
Yeah.
So
3 hours late, dear.
yeah. So
I've got one. I'm sorted.
But
So I am going to go against everything pretty much that Dawson said and go with the Los Angeles Rams. They did have a fantastic performance against the Broncos, albeit the Broncos are a dumpster fire, as I mentioned. But I think the confidence that bring the Rams franchise and Baker Mayfield, I think they will get the job done in my wildcard pick.
Nice. So yeah, my takeaway were all right, mate. Thank you.
Good to know. For my wildcard pick this week, as I mentioned, struggled, but I'm going with my gut feeling. I'm going with the hunch. I'm going with that tingly feeling in my balls. That has done me quite well. Done me quite well in the wild cards for the NFL. If you look at the recent history, and I'm taking the Chicago Bears to beat the Detroit Lions. I pause there just in case. Despite the fact that Bears currently sit 3-12, currently sit with the second overall pick in April's draft, despite the fact they are going to a team that have won 3 out of their last 5, like I said, I've just got that little niggly feeling that Bears could pull off a result here. Detroit Lions, despite the fact they have been relatively decent against the run this season, got absolutely fucking annihilated on the ground against the Panthers last weekend. Panthers had around 250 rushing yards in the first half alone, and Bears, that is where they have been strongest so far this season. I'm not saying that I definitely think Bears are going to win. Lions have been very good. Jared Goff has been fantastic. He is back at home. He is back against the defense that have struggled, but Lions rank 32nd against quarterbacks in fantasy, so Fields could have a good day in the air. There's no explanation needed in terms of what Fields delivers on the ground, and we saw what Panthers did to Detroit last weekend. So there's just that little feeling inside me that Bears could scrape a win, because they haven't been, despite being 3-12, they haven't been playing bad. They've had a lot of highlights and a lot of their losses. So I'll go for the Bears.
Okay, Sam, have you got one?
Yeah, so I'm going to put this to a vote because my first choice wild card was Justin Jefferson to be over 150 yards against the Packers in receiving yards. But Dawson says I can't have it. So I'm going to put it up to a vote. What does anybody think I can, or I've got to pick a team?
You got to
pick a team.
That's it then. So he's took my Bears pick. So you're going to have to give me a hot second, because they were my backup in case you didn't let me have it. Fucking hell.
Aggie, what do you have for teammate?
I ain't had anything yet, to be fair.
No. How's Johnny?
It's very nice, thank you. Yeah, it's keeping me going for the Christmas to New Year period, but I assume, and I think with the way I'm going at the moment, it will be gone by the New Year.
You wearing a condom for?
Comfort.
Oh, Robin.
Comfort.
Go on then, Sam. Who are you thinking? Are you thinking Steelers at Ravens? Steelers in good form. What are you thinking? 1-4 out the last
I'm
5.
thinking I'm going to take the Commanders to beat the Browns.
Are they not favourites?
I'm just going to double check now.
ESPN has 52% of the vote going to Commanders.
Yeah, you don't look at them silly votes, mate. So you just look at Bucky's odds, isn't it? So Bucky's odds of
Commanders are odds on.
Yeah, it's a Nats knacker in it. To be honest, it's the Commanders have got a -2. So you're right. Yeah, so they are odds on. Fucking hell. Yeah, I told you I'm struggling here. I'll quite settled on my Bears pick if that Jefferson one didn't come in, but I am gonna go. Let's have a look at what the Steelers are saying against the Ravens. Yes, I'm going to take the Steelers to beat the Ravens.
Like it.
Okay. Mine was taken by Kemp. I had the Rams to beat the Chargers.
Did you?
I did, yeah. But I'm going to move on, and I've looked at a couple whilst Sam's been looking through his. And
You've been panicking.
I have been panicking, mate. I've passed on the Panthers against the Bucks because I really don't know who's going to be the favourite. I've passed on the Falcons against the Cards, and I think I'm going to settle for the one that you briefly mentioned a little bit earlier, and I'm going to go with the Texans to beat the Jags.
Are you really?
I am.
Break it down. Or is it just that you're that desperate?
It's not, yeah, a bit of both. Now, the Texans, they won last week. The Jaguars just seem like a sort of side that you never really know what you're going to get from them. One week you can get a very good Jaguars side that are going to show
Jaguars.
Yeah, I've messed up what I was saying there, didn't I? Yeah, Johnny Walker's going well, mate, really well. You don't know what Jag side you're going to get from week to week, do you? Sometimes it can be a side that's in playoff contention. Sometimes it's a side that's still looking at the number 1 overall pick. And the Texans, they've got nothing to play for. And sometimes you go up against a side with absolutely nothing to lose. And they can turn you over, and that's what happened last week. And I think Texans are going to go back to back.
Like it.
There
we go. There's the bets complete. Sam, have you got a final total for the eightfold?
So just give me one hot second. I just had it loaded up there. So that is Liverpool at home to beat Leicester, Stevenage at home to beat Gillingham, Man City.
Yeah, it's Carlisle Friday, right? It's cool.
Man City at home to beat Everton, Chelsea away at Forest. Twat.
Oh, fucking away.
Chiefs at home against the Broncos. Eagles at home against the Saints. The Niners in Las Vegas. And the Chargers at home against the Rams. A £10 stake returns £93.55.
Come on then, let's end the year on a high.
Here we go. One thing left to do then is that's all we've got time for. Skin, over to your question.
Actually, I need to stop. I need to get this in. So the other night I was quite tipsy. In fact, it was after the Packers win on Christmas Day against the Dolphins, and I was a bit tipsy. I was a bit merry, in a good mood. Obviously, Packers have just won, so I've got my betting app out like a dick, didn't I?
And then no.
I've put a tenner on. Put a tenner on Packers to win Super Bowl.
I love it. I tell you what, mate. This will be yeah, they do it because no one's expecting it.
It's 50-1. I've got 510 quid.
That's brilliant. You're full up on fucking food. You've had a can. You're nothing like you say.
He's right, yeah. I love that.
He's just done it.
I've only just remembered as well when I've just checked that betting slip. I've just seen it.
That's brilliant. Because my next question was going to be when did it sink in? When was that moment of why the fuck did I do that? But apparently it's about 4 days. It's 4 days later.
Yeah, about 10 seconds ago. I've just seen scrolling through. Wait a minute.
Love it. I absolutely love it. My question of the episode, Sam, why it is for you, my friend.
Okay.
So perk your ears back, Adam and Kemp. You sit back and relax, knowing that you've not faced with the question of the episode this week. And Sam, the question is this.
Okay.
Would you rather have sex with your mum, but she is in Katie's body? Or would you rather have sex with Katie, but she is in your mum's body?
C, my dad.
Good night, everybody.